up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. Water is wet and RPS members are shipping as usual. Our NBA content has been on fire since the beginning of the season. I kicked off the week by shipping a WFBBC seat on FanDuel using a low-owned Isaiah Livers recommended on the Premium Final Countdown show.
I hope he comes off the bench because I know for a fact they love this kid. They're going to give him run no matter what. They're probably going to push him, and he's $3,100.
Our premium content comes through big time, whether it's our Up to Lock shows, heat maps, core plays, or playbook. Join us today so you can start shipping too. I wasn't the only one shipping a seat last week. Our guy Lox secured a DraftKings NBA Live Final seat as well. AP's core plays from Sunday helped a bunch of members win too. Junior hit for $3,000, while Nick Story shipped for over $15K. Steve Boynton used our core plays and playbook to make a late swap that won him $3,000 in NBA. And Punisher used the NBA heat map to ship $100,000 on DraftKings. As always, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the like button on this video as well. Keep the good mojo going. Our NFL dominance continued into week 8 as well with some big wins. D-Hops shipped for $4K on FanDuel. EjoCam won $5K. And Dirty Deeds 30 hit for $7,500. Some of our best screenshots aren't necessarily the huge scores. Bankroll building is a big part of becoming successful, and we love to see the good ROI hits too. Cusp Love illustrated this perfectly, turning $2 into $800, while Wes turned $18 into $2,500 on DraftKings, and Jalapeno turned $198 into a monster $77K. His Great Pizza brought the great mojo in Cincinnati. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Until next time, let's keep running pure.
Everybody, happy Wednesday and welcome to the NFL First Look over here on Run Pure Sports. I'm Eric Crain and I am joined, as I am every single week. We got Lox, we got AP. Lox, how you doing today, brother?
Doing all right, man. Little sick household. Last week went okay, but we're pushing through. Ready to pick some winners today. Just excited to be back with you guys for another week and dive in here.
Yes, sir. AP, how is your Wednesday going?
It's going really well. First look show tournaments. For the NFL, looking at this slate that we have, I don't know, it looks pretty nice. Like, I think it's going to be a good tournament slate. Hopefully, we finally get one where, like, ownership spreads out a little bit. Don't you guys think, like, God, it's just been, like, jam in the good chalk and then find a little bit of a way to get different. I mean, that's kind of how many weeks in a row now? 5 or 6?
Feels like forever, man. It's like it's been NBA almost, where you just like, if you're not playing that good chalk, you're just absolutely screwed.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it right there.
Yeah. So speaking of NBA, guys, I got to let you guys know. First off, hit the like, subscribe button. It helps us out over at Run Pure Sports, and we're giving you the show for free because that's how we roll. We love y'all. So we got that going on. Also, NBA right now, it's our best sport. It is back. We got NBA Hardwood Show. That's going to be on later. We got Spreads NBA Daily Show, The Rundown. Then tonight, of course, for subscribers, it's NBA Up to Lock, which in sports like NBA, when you've got the injury news, when you got the resting, the blah, 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 yada, 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 it really gets annoying. But we are here at Run Pure Sports to help you guys out. We got obviously the Up to Lock Show, which is an absolute must watch for playing NBA, just because they let you know, if X happens, then you need to be looking at Y. You need to look at this situation if another player's out. It really is just incredibly helpful. And if you're playing NBA, you need to do it. So make sure you check us out over at runpuresports.com. Become a member, get in that Discord. And it's going to help you guys out a lot if you're playing NBA. But let's talk about this slate because this is our first look show. And for those of you who don't know what we do here, we're just not looking at the slate. We're checking it out. We're giving you our absolute first reactions. And my first reaction, Lox, when looking at the quarterback position is You're either spending all the way up to Josh Allen or you're trying to save a bunch of money.
Yeah, Crainer, can you hop over to AP first? Sorry, I just had some issues with.
Yes, sir. Yeah. You take care.
Right.
Yeah, AP. Okay, you're either spending up for Josh Allen or you're trying to save some money. Do you have a preference when you first look at this slate?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. We've seen Josh Allen in these spots historically just smash, where these Bills onslaught stacks where they're favored by double-digit points, just absolutely print. However, I mean, this Jets defense is improved, and guy, I could see them playing with the chip on their shoulder. Like I thought I was. I mean, I don't know. We all know I'm a Chiefs guy, so people say I'm biased or whatever. But
You are.
I really, I am very good. I am. But like the Bills, man, they should have absolutely smashed. Like they should have pounded the Packers. I don't think the Packers are very good. They let off the gas. I don't know. It was a little concerning. Like I thought they should have won by double digits, like 2 touchdowns at least. And they let Aaron Rodgers and the Packers back in a little bit. They had the game under control. I get it, but what I'm getting at is the Jets defense is improved. They're playing at home. They're going to be playing with the chip on their shoulder. Like, I don't know. I could see this game playing kind of ugly. So when I look at quarterback, the first thing I did, and we were talking pre-show, I ran the Sabre Cash Optimal, which it's going to change throughout the week. Obviously, news rolls in. They update their projections, their simulations and everything. But the first quarterback that popped up was Aaron Rodgers. Then I saw he was playing the Lions. And I'm like, yeah, this could be an interesting week, interesting game.
Are you guys on 5G?
What?
What's up? What was that?
I'm pretty sure Locks was yelling at somebody in his house. That was amazing.
Oh man. I'm like, oh god.
If we don't have the Locks, are you guys on 5G play of the week from now on? Then I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I'm dying.
That's amazing. Oh, we lost Locks.
Hey. There he is.
Hey, Lux, are you on 5G? That's the question.
Are you?
Oh, did you hear me?
Yeah.
I think we're losing him again.
Oh man, that's all right.
Uh-oh, what is going on here?
Where was I at? Yeah,
just too funny.
Just to kind of put a button on that.
Yeah.
I think quarterback. I think stacks are going to be really interesting this week. I really like the Chargers Falcons game. I mean, look at what the Panthers did. PJ Walker, they ran the ball. Like, how do we not? I know we're not to running back yet, but how do we not lock in Eckler? Then the Chargers defense is a disaster. They're not good at all. I think Mariota is interesting. I think you can stack them up with London, Pitts. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of good games to go to, and a lot of things I'm liking early.
So you mentioned Aaron Rodgers, and you kind of were surprised that he was in the optimal. And I said before the show, it's going to be tough for me not to play Aaron Rodgers. Part of me is like, well, I'm not going to play chalk Aaron Rodgers. But at the same time, there are a lot of guys in really good spots this week. You mentioned Mariota. He's somebody that, look, Atlanta's got a good team total, a good matchup there. Justin Herbert, obviously, he's going to get some ownership. Tua, every week, I think, is going to get some ownership. Justin Fields, there's a lot being made right now where he's had 3 straight top 8 quarterback weeks, and he's only 5,300. So he could be somebody that gets some ownership. So, Locks, just at first glance, this isn't a week where I expect there to be a lot of chalk at quarterback. It seems like it's going to be really spread out.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of different options I'm looking at, just to obviously open it up for the first time today, but I don't see anybody that's going to get just totally steamed up this week. I do like a couple of the higher end guys. I'm going to go right back to Murray just because, I mean, Seattle's defense terrible. Yeah, the last game was terrible, but I think he just finds his stride one of these weeks. I'm going to stick with him a little bit. I'm probably going to still spend up, and then I'll sprinkle down in the low end, probably Rodgers. I'm probably not going to get the Tua this week. The guy I do like a lot is actually Joe Burrow this week against Carolina at 6,600. So that's one of the guys I like up in that range. I will have Rodgers against Detroit. I know their offense looks bad, but he's too good to not figure it out too. And like you guys said, he keeps popping up in cash optimal. He's $5,900, so hard to not go to him. That's kind of where I'm looking up in this top range this week.
Yeah, my problem with Rodgers is I have no earthly clue who to pair him with. I mean, I have no idea. And Lazard's sitting there too. Like it's just really confusing. I absolutely hate playing guys that I don't know who to pair them with. I have this because I do a lot of single entry stuff now, and like I just look at it and I said, I don't know what buttons to click. It's driving me crazy. It's like it's tough to make a stand on those guys. Like if I played, let's say, Jared Goff on the other side, guess what? I'm playing with Amon-Ra. Like that's just what I'm doing. Amon-Ra too cheap, by the way, at 6,600. He's like $1,000 too cheap. He's going to be chalky this week, I bet. All right, let's talk about some running backs. AP, you mentioned Austin Eckler earlier, and 8,800. And this is a guy that 3 weeks in, everybody was complaining about. Oh, Austin Eckler sucks. He's not getting there for us. Yada yada yada. Blah blah blah. Meanwhile, now he's the running back 1 on the entire season, and 8,800. He's priced like it. You don't think this is really a spot you can fade, though, do you?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be there, like no Mike Williams. Keenan Allen, should be back, but like in what capacity? And then it's like, man, DeAndre Carter, like, I don't know, he kind of sucks. Like Josh Palmer would be the other guy. I don't think he's like that good. And then you got their tight ends, who I do think Herbert's going to lean on outside of Austin Eckler. Like Austin Eckler he's priced way up. So the one thing that could happen is if you just look at projections, you might have to actually bump them up. And so if the industry is kind of has a average, fair projection on them, the optimizer driven players, may not be as high on a guy like Austin Eckler this week at that 8.8K price tag, because that's a big boy price tag. So we could get him at lower ownership. I just think, man, Chargers 20, almost a 4 touchdown implied team total. And it's like a situation where I feel like we should feel pretty confident at where that production is going to come from, Austin Eckler. And then you can run it back on the other side with a lot of different pieces that I think makes a lot of sense correlation wise. Outside of Eckler, I mean, like I do like, all right. So like I was on the Browns the other night. I was not high on the Bengals. However, I do think this is a good bounce back spot. So like I like Locke's call on Joe Burrow. Joe Mixon has been an absolute disaster, but if he's going to continue to get dump offs, looks out of the backfield, I would have a little bit of interest there. If he's going to be chalked though, I would rather fade. Something looks off with him, man. He just does not look good at all.
I will say this about Joe Mixon. Like we know that usage and targets, those can be sort of predictive. Touchdowns are just kind of a high variance thing. And like he's getting the targets, he's getting the usage. He just isn't falling into the end zone. Like eventually he's going to get some positive regression there. Like 6,500, I think that's a steal for Joe Mixon.
Yeah. All right. I mean, you sold me, especially now that we know, like the Bengals are a pretty transparent team. Like we talk about these teams, like we know they want to get the ball to their playmakers. So at 6,500, I think I can agree with you there. I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about the running backs in the Packers and Lions game. I think just when you think of almost a 50 total, a game that we're going to want to target, you got to have some interest in Aaron Jones, even though he's sharing the field with AJ Dillon. And then same thing with DeAndre Swift. I mean, Jamal Williams came out, scored the first touchdown, but the opportunities were there for Swift. So I know it's like a tilting situation, but I would be, I'd be like 2 of these running backs out of the 4, AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, 2 of those 4, I think crush value. I just don't know necessarily which 2 it's going to be.
Okay. So AJ Dillon, like the dude's just barely getting any work. I know he had 10 carries last week, but this has been Aaron Jones' backfield. And I am terrified to play DeAndre Swift right now. I'm like, Locks, do you have any interest in Swift? Because this is a guy that they kept out for 6 weeks. They handled him with kid gloves last week. I think they're going to keep handling him with kid gloves. And I just personally don't want anything to do with him. Like it's just a situation that I like crossing guys off. I feel like I can pretty safely cross off Swift. And yeah, there's going to be a week where he breaks a 70-yarder and beats me, but I think those are going to be few and far in between.
I don't know. I'm kind of opposite of you. I kind of have interest in Swift in this game, to be honest with you. I think it's just his first game back. I think he's going to get a little bit more work. Yeah, Williams vultured a touchdown. I don't know. I still like the guy. He's too good. He's in the passing game too. So especially with Hawkinson being gone, I actually think Swift catches a few more balls out of the backfield, to be dead honest with you. In this game, I love both starting running backs. So I'm going to be on Jones quite a bit too, just because he catches passes too. And he's clearly taken over that lead role. They're not really a tandem too much anymore. I could see maybe throwing a Rodgers, Lazard, Tanyan against Swift and Amon-Ra if you want to stack this game. Something like that is very interesting to me. And then if Lazard's back, I like him too. So this game is very interesting. There's a lot of pieces. I definitely am on Swift this week, along with a few other guys. I mean, I like the Eckler call. I think he's just going to bust out this week. I'm not as high on Mixon, but I kind of agree with AP. He could break at any time. Josh Jacobs, I'll probably be back on this week just because he's against Jacksonville. I called it last week on Saturday that I was off of him. He was due for a dud week, so I think he bounces back in a big way too.
No love for my boy ETN. I am victory lapping the hell out of ETN right now.
That's fine. I love ETN too. He's definitely on my radar.
Okay, yeah, because I think there are a lot of these cheap guys that I know this has sort of been the theme this year where we've had, okay, yeah, these high-end running backs are good plays, but there are just so many guys in that 5 and 6K range that we like. AP, stop me if there's somebody you don't like here. Ramondre Stevenson at home against Indianapolis. You like him?
Yeah, I could get on board with that.
ETN at home against the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought him up because I mean, your boy, man, he's getting a ton of work. 23 and then 28 DK points last 2 games. And God, the Raiders, how bad are the Raiders, man? They are an absolute dumpster fire.
I mean, you just have to blame McDaniels at this point. Like, this is Josh McDaniels' fault. This is now
people were predicting that this team would finish above KC in the AFC West. Same with like the Broncos and stuff. Just absolutely wild to me.
All right, Kenneth Walker, $6,200 at Arizona. Obviously a great play. Raheem Mostert, Miami making a lot of changes. I think Mostert's fine. I don't even hate David Montgomery at 6K at home against Miami. Because James Conner's going to be back. So James Conner, 5,800.
Do we lose Crain? Oh man, we are. This show has gone downhill. So he was talking about the running back position and how loaded it is. I don't know, Locks. I mean, like, I don't think it's like that loaded. Like, I don't like. We've had some monster running back type weeks. Like, this doesn't seem like one, at least on the surface. Obviously, we have a lot of work left to do, but like, Crain, you back?
I think this is crazy. Like, the rest of my internet's fine.
So I stepped in and I said, I was kind of like, I get what you're saying, but I kind of disagree. Like, I don't think this week is that loaded at the running back position. Like, yeah, they're like, I'm not like that excited about playing like Ramondre. Like, I think he's fine. Like, I think all these guys are fine, but I think out of all the slates that we've had recently, this sets up to be one where, I don't know, I think it's a little bit tougher to get excited about a lot of the options outside of like Austin Eckler for me.
I even think Brian Robinson at 5,400 is playable. That was the last name I was going to say. I was trying to get down there and I couldn't get there before the internet froze.
What you're saying is ownership should, like, we've gone through 3 weeks now where running back ownership is insane, like ridiculous. Yeah. Do you think we'll see ownership spread out a little bit this week? Because if so, that would be a good thing.
I would imagine that Mixon's going to end up being chalk. Like, he's somebody that I think will be chalk. I think you'll see ETN get a lot of love. Ramondre, look, he's a big home favorite in a good matchup and getting most of the usage. Like, Ramondre is going to get some ownership. I guess there's some of these guys. I think you're going to see a lot of guys over 20, 25%. I don't think we're going to see that 50% guy like we've seen over the last few weeks, which is good because I don't like those 50% guys. I like those 20% guys where I can get double the field and then move on with my life. So I do think we'll see a lot of those guys. Locks, what do you think about some of these guys down here? Did anybody stand out to you as an elite option?
Yeah, a couple of those guys did. I mean, ETN, absolutely. When you mentioned Mostert, I just don't know. I mean, you got Jeff Wilson coming in, so who knows? I mean, he's a solid running back. We don't know how they're going to run their backfield. I mean, the only guys for sure on Miami that are going to get the ball are Tyreek and Waddle. So it's too hard for me to get the Mostert there at 6,100, especially with ETN, Ramondre Stevenson. Like I said, I like Swift. You got Kenneth Walker, $100 more. So, yeah, there is a lot of guys in this $5,500 to $6,500 range that are going to be nice. But I don't know. There's too many good options that I think are just going to smash at the top that I mentioned earlier and that AP's mentioned with Eckler and Mixon and those guys. But, yeah, there's definitely some good options. I think it's definitely going to be a more spread out week.
I skipped over Donta Foreman too. I don't want to do that because he's somebody he's going to get over 20 carries a game for Carolina. I don't care what their team total is. Like,
I feel like this mid range is gonna there's gonna be a couple plays that explode, and I think I think the majority are gonna underwhelm. Is kind of what I'm seeing. Like, I don't know. I feel like this could be the point of some tilt for the Discord this week.
Okay,
Yeah,
look, if the Discord's been playing the chalk, I don't want to hear any tilt because like you've been crushing the last few weeks.
Yeah, there's always tilt though. There always tilt. Sorry, go ahead, Lox.
Do you guys think this mid-range is going to get steamed up and we'll get those higher guys at low ownership?
I don't know about low ownership. Like a guy like Austin Eckler is always going to get 25% ownership. Like he's just, he's just too good not to.
I do feel like that price tag caps his ownership though a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in weeks past in this situation, I feel like he's always like 7,700 or 7,600, and it's like, gosh, you can just jam him in. 8,800, that's a big price tag for a guy like Austin Eckler.
And, the thing is, on the other side, though, he has no competition up there. There's no McCaffrey on this slate. Jonathan Taylor, it's really tough to play him right now with the ankle issue. Dalvin Cook's splitting carries, but he's still priced at 7,800. I mean, outside of Eckler at 8,800, the next cheapest guy you can go down to is Aaron Jones. So he's at a price tier by himself, which means that if somebody's playing somebody in that price tier, it's going to be Eckler. So I don't know. I think we still see plenty of ownership on Austin Eckler. Let's talk about some wide receivers because, like I've already said that I'm trying to live in that mid-range or running back, it looks like this week. So that means I'm going to have a little bit of money to spend up for a wide receiver. Cooper Kupp, he's a little bit banged up. I want to see what happens there. Justin Jefferson in a great spot. Tyreek Hill in a great spot. Stephon Diggs in a great spot. Lox, it seems like we see this every single week where these high-end wide receivers are not only great floor plays, but they're in some explosion spots. So this is where I like to spend my money. Is there any matchup up top that stands out to you?
Yeah, just looking at it right away, nothing that's really jumping off the charts. I mean, I would say Devontae Adams, but man, every time I say his name, he sucks. So it's hard for me to keep clicking it. The guys you can always go to, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson. I mean, Justin Jefferson looks like he's in a smash spot from what I'm seeing. I also like, right off the bat, I like DeAndre Hopkins. I think he goes off again. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown without Hawkinson there, I think he just gets peppered even more. I mean, Green Bay's defense has been absolutely awful. So I expect that game to be high scoring. I'm going to have a huge amount of probably Amon-Ra and Hopkins this week. Just right off the bat, those are probably my two favorite plays up at the top here on wideout.
You mentioned DeAndre Hopkins, and last week I made him a priority, and I'm going to do the same this week. Like, the guy is simply getting way too much usage, is too talented, and is getting all the big boy usage in, and now he gets a matchup against Seattle, $7,900. I think he's still about $1,000 too cheap. So Hopkins is somebody that I can already tell just by looking at this, I'm going to make a priority. And Devontae Adams, I know last week was rough. I'm going to give him a pass because he had the flu. Maybe I'm being too polite. I don't know. I still see a big team total for the Raiders. And look, there are going to be people out there that played him last week or that look at that game log and say, I don't want to mess with Devontae Adams. And to me, in tournaments, I think that makes him an elite spot. And if you save a quarterback, you save a running back, maybe you can spin up for two of these guys, which would be beautiful, beautiful. AP, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I like that. Couple others. I mean, now that I'm looking at this Dolphins-Bears game a little bit, just like 45 total on the surface, like a game that I just don't see people stacking up. Yeah, Tyreek Hill, he's going to have ownership for sure, double-digit targets every single week, it seems like. But, I mean, like Justin Fields, I'm not saying like play Justin Fields. I mean, actually, you could 5-3.
I think you can play Justin Fields.
He's playing with some swagger right now. Like they were moving the ball against like the best defense in the NFL, I think, in the Cowboys. I think we'd all agree on that. At least like a top three. Darno, like, man, you could go like Tyreek Hill, Waddle, both obviously really good plays. Pair him with Tua if you want, but then run it back with Mooney, or go Fields, Tyreek, Waddle, Mooney. I don't know. This game looks really interesting. So like Tyreek Hill though, until we just got to play him each and every week. I mean, this dude is just getting peppered with targets. His floor is insanely high, and his upside could absolutely break the slate. So a couple situations where, like the Chargers, like what are they going to do? Who are they going to throw to? We got to keep an eye. Like if Keenan Allen was 100%, it would be easy. He's not though, and it's obvious. So like I think that's a tricky situation because I don't want to like DeAndre Carter sucks. Josh Palmer, I don't know. I don't think he's that good either, but he's 5'1", and we like that game. And then the Packers, like, don't like Sammy Watkins look terrible. Like I would not play him.
Yeah.
He's gonna like I would play Samori Toure over Sammy Watkins. I'm not like this is a dude. He's 3K. Like he might see the field like 25-30% of the time. What I'm saying is like don't play Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
I actually Toure maybe in tournaments if it frees some stuff up. He was a Nebraska boy. The dude is talented. Definitely skilled, but because who's Rodgers going to throw to? I mean, if Lazard is good to go,
No idea.
he would be fine. And then Dubs, like I don't know, he would be fine if he could catch the ball. And then Amon-Ra I think is like such a good play. I like him. Then Jefferson. I'm with Locks on Justin Jefferson. Running back with Scary Terry McLaurin. Whew, that's a really nice stack too. So a lot of good receiver plays on the slate.
We skipped right over Gabe Davis, a guy that might have as much upside as anybody. And I can't imagine at 6,900, I cannot imagine he will be owned at all. And he is a tournament guy that I have a lot of interest in. Locks, what do you think about that? Yeah, like he's somebody that in tournaments, like he's the kind of guy you want to roll the dice on. So I'd be looking there. You mentioned a bunch of guys. I didn't hear any DJ Moore talk at 5,800.
I was going to mention him.
Go ahead, Locks.
Yeah, just with PJ Walker, he seems a lovely guy. I mean, he caught the one at the end of the game that kind of got him over the hump there, and I was rooting for that, but I needed a couple other things to happen. But he loves him. DJ Moore at 5,800, definitely a good call. I absolutely love the call of McLaurin by AP. Just Heineke loves the guy. We've seen him the last 2 weeks got 8 targets apiece, 73 yards, 113 yards. I think he's coming back to life a little bit. So I absolutely love that call at $5,900. Gabe Davis, I always love the guy. Like you said, he has slate breaking potential. If we're looking for value here, the guy I didn't get on last week that I wish I would have is Garrett Wilson. I mean, they said they were going to get him more involved, and they got him more involved. So at $4,800, I don't mind going there either. There's a lot of value here actually that I'm kind of seeing as I'm scrolling through here that might keep me away from these high end guys a little bit. I'll still have 1 or 2 of them in every lineup, but there's some value here as well that we're missing. I think Dobbs is a good play. I mean, did you guys see his touchdown last week?
Yeah,
AP said he can catch the ball. That was a pretty damn good catch.
Well, I mean, I think I saw a couple drops too, but no, I think he would be the guy. Thinking back through it, I think he's definitely the guy, there to target.
Yeah, and we'll get to tight ends because Rodgers loves Tanyan, so I think that's the guy you compare him with too. Talking about that Detroit Green Bay game, but yeah, there's a lot of value I see here.
I'm playing.
Real quick, I love that DJ Moore call. I mean, it looks like the Bengals are going to have to play Cam Taylor-Britt and then Trey Flowers, right? Like, they're pretty banged up, man. This team, that game, like my one fear is like that game could play super ugly, like really, really, really ugly. Or it could be like sneaky, like a sneaky game to target where you need Joe Burrow to find a connection with his receivers and we see points. So I kind of lean the ugly side, but DJ Moore I think is fine.
Another Joe Burrow Millie.
How many would that would be?
Their offense looks so like they need Chase in there, man. They had such a good connection going too. Like, but Joe Burrow he's a good quarterback. Definitely could be a bounce back spot. Probably low owned too.
I just want to let you guys know I'm building a lineup right now, and you can absolutely build Hopkins, Adams lineups that you're going to like. Like you can do DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams with Mixon, Walker, and Donta Foreman. Like you can build that lineup pretty easily. So I'm just saying that like if you can get these 2-step receivers, I like the expensive running backs, but boy, it is tough for me to turn down this expensive wide receiver build. Let's talk some tight ends. Another week where we have no big boys on the slate. There's no Andrews. There is no Kelsey. The most expensive tight end, and this isn't a joke, is Zach Ertz. Woof. This is rough. But before we get into that, AP, I need you to tell me something, buddy. Let me know what the people are missing by not being a part of premium.
Yeah, I mean, tons of content. NBA season a full go right now. We have heat maps for both DraftKings and FanDuel playbooks, core plays from all our NBA coordinators. And then the Discord is always popping too. And premium show with JSU, Big T, Holden, up to lock. Man, such a good show to make sure you're watching each and every day. So they all have awesome takes. So yeah, sign up and run Pure.
That's right. And make sure you click that like and subscribe button if you're watching this show. It helps us out at Run Pure. We're doing this one for free. We'd appreciate you clicking that like button for us. Thank you. Okay, so tight end position. Zach Ertz, the most expensive guy. I'm not playing him anymore with DeAndre Hopkins in the fold. TJ Hawkinson, he just got traded. Darren Waller, he's been bad. Gerald Everett? Kyle Pitts? Oh, boy. Locks, this position is really ugly.
Yeah, it is. I obviously love Ertz. The guy just continues to get targets, even with Hopkins in there. Always a red zone threat. That guy I don't know if I do like, but I kind of do, is Hawkinson. I mean, he just got traded to Minnesota. Yeah, he's only 5K. Kirk Cousins likes his tight end. So if you want to get different off of Jefferson, I don't mind throwing Hawkinson in there maybe this week, but it's hard to play somebody on the first week after they got traded because you don't know how they're going to be into the offense, but I wouldn't mind throwing in a little bit of him. I love Pitts again this week. I know we talk about him just about every week. That's your boy, Crane. I think he's going to get us there again this week. He's $4,500. Why not? The guy I'm looking at, if I'm seeing this right, is Dawson Knox really only $3,500?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, why not go down there? That's a lot of value for a guy that can easily score 1 or 2 touchdowns for you at the tight end position. So I'm kind of leaning those routes. And again, I like Tanyan. I'll always love Tanyan with Rodgers. He's under 4K. Until he gets a higher price tag, I'm going to keep jamming him in too, because we saw him catch 10 balls the other week. Last week, he had another decent week and got a touchdown called back. So I don't mind him, but those are my value plays at tight end because I'm spending up everywhere else for the most part.
Yeah, this is a position that you're actually forced to save money. And AP, I know you like a guy that that's going to help you save even more money.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a Millie Maker type of play.
He's in my lineup right now. He's in my cheap, Mr. Parham.
Parham? Oh, yeah. All right. So, we'll start there. 2,600. All right. The Chargers are going to score points. And, it just doesn't seem like Keenan Allen is healthy at all. We all know that. DeAndre Carter sucks. Palmer, who knows what this guy is. I don't really like him that much, but they like their tight ends, though. Gerald Everett's going to be heavily involved. I think he's very much in play. And then you got when Donald Parham was in there the other day, they had him running a ton of routes, high upside routes too, or opportunity routes too, in the end zone and stuff like that. Dude's fast, a big target. I could just see him. I know it's usually a showdown slate type of play, but I could see them using him in that way when there's a lot of uncertainty as far as the receivers go. But as far as safe, predictable stuff, I'm with locks on Robert Tonyan. That dude. That's an absolutely one of my favorite plays. And then Kyle Pitts. I know he gives
9
us
targets
fits,
last week.
Kyle Pitts, but yeah, 9 targets. I love playing. He gives us fits. Kyle Pitts. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
pull a rap out there.
Tambo is always the best with those one-liners. No, but I love play. All right, so I see this matchup all the time. Travis Kelce, obviously different animal there, but I always play him against the Chargers. I love playing tight ends against the Chargers. They just always seem to crush. So Kyle Pitts, yeah, I'm definitely going to be on him. And then I'm probably making a bunch of cuts too. There's just a lot of guys I don't like. I mean, Hayden Hurst, you would think would be an okay play. They got to get some targets that way. TJ Hawkinson, like Locke said, we don't necessarily know what the role is going to be right out of the gate, but the dude has skills, and Kirk Cousins does like his tight ends. So I think he's a fine tournament play. And then Dawson Knox, if you're playing Allen, I love if you go Allen, Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, it's a super contrarian way to stack that side up because everyone's going to have Stephon Diggs. And you just never know. If it's a Gabe Davis day where he gets, 2 2 touchdowns, and then Knox gets 1, and it's just one of those days where the defense is focused on Stephon Diggs, man, that's how you win tournaments. So I'm going to keep it pretty simple, though, at the tight end position this week, outside of Parham, if he plays.
Nobody's going to chase Ty Conklin? $3,200, just put up 26, saw 10 targets. He saw 6 targets the week before, so that's 16 targets in 2 weeks in a game where they should be trailing. They're going to need to throw the ball a lot against Buffalo. Locks, have I convinced you on Ty Conklin?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. There's not enough there. I need to see more weeks of that.
He said 16 targets in 2 weeks. They're going to have to pass a ton. He's $3,200.
I get it. They got 2 running
Bill's
backs.
Bill's defense is almost like full health, right? Like,
yeah.
that's
if
why I'm worried about this game plan. Like, I almost like the unders in this game. It's like, though, with Kansas City, it's hard to bet unders on those games. But so Josh Allen in the same category, obviously. But man, I just see this game being really ugly.
So to touch on that, Crane, I would rather spend 3-1 for Cade Otton with Tampa Bay. I mean, something like that, or even Higbee at 3-7. Why not? Or Dawson Knox, like I said, on the other side of the ball at 3-5. I like those 3 guys better than Tyler Conklin.
We haven't had we haven't had a 3 touchdown Will Dissly game in a while.
There you go. Oh, against the Cardinals too. There you go, Crane. I like
a good call.
Hey, I'm telling you guys, this is a week where you want to get weird at tight end.
Yeah.
Because
Will Dissly, Parham, I love it.
Yeah. Like, this is a week, we've got some wide receiver plays that we love. Running back plays are solid. The quarterback plays, I think there are 10 guys you could justify. Tight end is where you want to get a little bit strange, where you want to get a little bit weird. That much is really obvious, because the people that people are going to spend up on, the Zach Ertz of the world, the Kyle Pitts of the world. Pitts has that upside. I'm not going to pretend he doesn't. But is there that big of a chance that there's that much of a chance that Pitts outscores a guy like Dawson Knox, a guy like even Ty Conklin? I'm going to go back to him. Like, I don't think it's that out of the realm of possibility.
If you want to go real cheap, go to 2-5, get Brock Wright.
All right, I'm looking at Brock Wright.
Brock Wright for Detroit.
I think I have his Rainmaker card.
Yeah, why not? He's 2-5. He's a stone min, baby.
I mean, I've made worse plays. If I'm not playing a Monra, I have no problem with Brock Wright. Why not? I have Parham in there right now. Like, I could use an extra $100
if punting that tight end, that's a guy to punt with. Why not? He's a starting tight end.
All right, boom. Now he's in my lineup. Sorry, Parham. I kicked your boy out, AP.
That's fine. I like it.
All right, I understand. I'm glad that you're okay with that, because he gets the old bye-bye.
I will say, like, the first run I did, the top build in the cash optimal on Sabre. Anyone could go and run it. But it's a 2 tight end build. It's just funny. So I always try to get off of 2 tight end builds. Like, it's just not my style at all. It was giving me Kyle Pitts and Tyler Higbee, and Tyler Higbee's been a disaster. Like, that's a dude I just have no interest playing.
All right, let's move on to defense. And just at first glance, not a lot of cheapies to like. The Jets are the stone minimum at home against Buffalo. We're not doing that. Carolina, we just saw the Cincinnati offensive line get blown up. I don't hate the idea of playing Carolina. Problem is, I'm going to be playing a ton of Joe Mixon. I don't know. Locks, is there anything down here in the cheap seats that interest you?
As far as defenses go?
Yeah. It gets ugly quick. Yeah.
Yeah, not right off the jump. Nothing that I see down at the bottom. I always basically punt at defense, though, so I'm sure I'll find something in here. But off the jump, no, I don't see anything I'm really liking. AP, you got any calls?
I mean, some of these prices are just ridiculous. This is the first time I'm looking at defense pricing. I mean, man, 4K for the Bengals, 4,300 for the Bills, and the Bills are on the road. That, like, I can't. I'm never I'm rarely ever paying 4K for a defense, especially a defense that's on the road. Like, man, like, okay, I don't know. I mean, yeah, like, people will probably laugh at this, but a min 2K Jets defense, just think about a scenario where the Jets steal a win here. Like, their defense has played good. Yeah. They're at home. And we saw in the second half against the Packers, like, I don't know, like the Bills slowed way down, it seemed like. So I don't know. I think there's crazier things out there than that. Obviously, it's Wednesday. I don't know exactly where I'm going to go now. I'll probably have much, better takes, but flat 2K for a defense. I don't know. It's such a random spot. Like Jets Allen could throw a pick six or something, and that's all he has to do. It doesn't matter if they score 30 points. If you get a couple sacks and a pick six at 2K, you're absolutely mint.
I don't hate Washington at 2,400. Like Kirk Cousins going from a dome to outdoors on the road, Washington at home. You could really use those savings. So like they've had 5 sacks twice in a game. Go ahead.
What about the Panthers up there too? So I know we think this is why if you build multiple lineups, build out some narratives and stuff. Like we know it's a good bounce back spot for Joe Burrow. I think Locks, both you and I are on that, but their number one weapon out, like they looked really bad last week with Chase out. They got a whole week to figure things out. But if they don't, the Panthers, 2,300, another punt defense that you could go to.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mentioned them, but like if I'm playing Joe Mixon, I can't play the Panthers for obvious reasons. The problem this week is that if you're going to feel comfortable with a different defense, you got to spend up an AP. I know that's not something you like to do.
So, okay, let me argue against why you couldn't play Joe Mixon and Carolina. If Carolina gets up early, let's just say they sack Joe Burrow and scoop and score. This is something we talk about in showdowns a lot too. But if the Bengals are trailing, we saw the script there, like they were dumping the ball off to Joe Mixon. So like he's a guy that I wouldn't set that rule on. Like I think you could still play Joe Mixon if you're punting with that defense.
I agree.
I don't know. Maybe it's just in my head and I'm just screwed up.
No, I can't imagine Grant, I'm with you. Like that's how I am too. But some of these, like just these things that we usually do in showdown, like I don't know, they can transition to regular slate depending on what the slate looks like. I think like I can't pay 4K for some of these defenses. Like I don't, just crazy.
Okay, so Locks. Now that go ahead, Locks.
I was just going to say, I'll jump in on that and just because I won 50 quite a bit for the most part. I don't really set that rule a whole lot just because, like AP said, if they scoop and score or they get a pick six or something, that defense can still be optimal with Mixon scoring a decent amount. So I don't know. I don't mind playing a defense if you're punting at defense just to get up to a lot of other guys. I don't mind going that route in some of my lineups. I'm not going to just fully take them out just because I'm playing Mixon. You know what I mean?
All right. Sounds good. I think single entry, like I get what you're saying. I'm just glad I have the Washington Commanders there to where I don't have to do. All right. AP, now that you've taken a look, your first look on this slate, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It looks like a really good multi-entry. Like I think it's I don't always 150. I think I have like twice so far. For me, it's like a slate by slate type of thing. This could be one of those slates where I do 150. And my reasoning is like, why don't I do it each and every time? I don't know. There's just some slates I don't like
you don't want to. Yeah.
You don't like it, so you don't have to do it. Like, I don't know. Like, but this slate, just looking at it, like, man, there seems to be some spots here that could be really nice in tournaments that could go a little overlooked, like the Dolphins Bears. We've seen Tua stack ship. There's a lot of different ways to run, like the Chargers Falcons, another spot that I really like, and then Packers Lions. Man, one thing we didn't talk about, but like Raiders bounce back. Like if they like how is their coach not on a hot seat if they don't bounce back offensively? Because like they were supposed to be like an offensive juggernaut and they've been very stagnant. So a matchup against the Jaguars, I don't know, kind of interesting. So I think it's a good multi-entry week. It's going to be a fun tournament week. Hopefully, it's going to change, man. This is a week where I don't think chalk hits as hard as what we've seen in the previous few weeks.
Locks, thoughts on this slate from you?
Yeah, definitely some interesting games, and I like AP's call. There's so many different ways to stack this up. I mean, one of the games he didn't mention, which is going to be an obvious one, is Seattle, Arizona. I do like the Raiders call. That was going to be one. I was going to say is Jacksonville Raiders. That could potentially be a high scoring game.
Yep.
I mean, Evan Ingram at 3-3. That was another tight end that I forgot to mention. He's starting to like him a little bit. Scored a touchdown last week. He's gotten enough targets that, I mean, if you can go ETN with Ingram, run it back with Carr, Adams, Waller. I don't know, but there's a lot of spots where that one could be interesting. I like the Bears call. Fields has looked pretty good, and there's a lot of different spots where games could just go off. So yeah, a lot of spots, a lot of ways to get different. Things are going to change as the week goes on with injury news and all that.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning into the first look. Guys, stick around because we got a lot of NBA shows coming up. The NBA Hardwood Show and Spreads Daily NBA Show, The Rundown. They're going to be coming up later. And of course, tonight, we're going to have Up to Lock for premium members out there. And if you're not a premium member, hey, go and check us out over at Run Pure because we got a lot of good stuff going on. But we got to get out of here for now. For AP, for Locks, for Simon behind the scenes, I'm Eric. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you later. Peace.